Namaste and a very good afternoon to all participants and the special people that we have on board today for the wonderful discussion that we are going to have this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this amazing session that we are having on this very special day, the International Women's Day 2021. We would be focusing on this year's theme, Choose to Challenge. I, on behalf of Rishihood University, wish all a very happy Women's Day, and I pray that we celebrate the achievements of women every year on this day, and the graph of their achievements grows higher and continues to grow much higher. Before I begin the session, may I request our viewers to please put their questions in the chat box. We will try and answer the same if the time permits, but we will try and email the replies of the panelists to you as soon as possible. I would like to begin the session with a couple of lines from a very popular poem written by Janab Asrarul Haq Majaz. तुम्हारे माथे पे ये आंचल तो बहुत खूब है लेकिन तुम्हारे माथे पे ये आंचल तो बहुत खूब है लेकिन तुम इस आंचल का एक परचम बना लेती तो अच्छा था तुम इस आंचल का एक परचम बना लेती तो अच्छा था. Gone are the days when women were confined to homes and were not given their due. Modern woman is not only making her parcham, her flag, but is proudly and confidently holding her flag high and is leading from front and handling the challenges head on. So let us have a look at some such women who have held their parcham high, changed the course of history, and made us all very proud. May I request Mr. Agha to please play the video? Yes. So thank you, Mr. Argha. Very inspiring women, I must say. We are honored and extremely happy to have some amazing women on this platform today who have done exemplary work in their respective fields and are true leaders and inspiring personalities. I'm reminded of a couple of lines written by Allama Iqbal, and the lines are, "Wajood e zan se hai kainat mein rang, isi ke saaz se hai zindagi ka soz rawan." I would repeat the lines. Wajood e zan se hai kainat mein rang, isi ke saaz se hai zindagi ka soz rawan. These lines can be interpreted in many ways, but here at this point of time, these lines kind of endorse how I referred to these amazing panelists of the day as leaders and inspiring personalities. So without further ado, let me introduce these wonderful panelists to all of you. Our first panelist is Professor Dr. Saroj Sharma ji, Chairperson, the National Institute of Open Schooling, popularly known as NIOS. Professor Saroj Sharma is associated with different dimensions of education at various levels in the contemporary educational system and addressing the quality concerns of the respective streams. She has rich and varied academic experience as a seasoned faculty member and sound administrative experience as academic head of different institutions offering the graduate and postgraduate degrees of education, that is B.Ed and M.Ed. She has been the first dean of the University School of Education, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, New Delhi, in the respective stream of education. She is a member of many educational associations and actively involved in various projects of UNICEF, UNESCO, NCERT, ICSSR, and other social and cultural forums. Presently, she is a member in the governing bodies, Board of Studies, and academic councils of many universities of India. She has also been a member of various curriculum development and framework formation teams at the national and international levels in the field of different strata of school curriculum, as well as of teacher education. Some of her significant publications include various books on education and several course books and modules in postgraduate diploma for school leadership and management, diploma in elementary education and B.Ed and M.Ed programs, and PhD coursework of different universities. She is empaneled as evaluator in different leading national universities and apex educational bodies in India and abroad. She is in the advisory and editorial boards of many journals of education and has contributed a number of articles and research papers in national and international journals of repute. She has also been in the standing committee of NCTE and also chair of the Open Education Resources Development Committee of NCTE. She is striving hard to attain academic excellence at the personal and professional level with a mission of restructuring the current educational scenario for quality enhancement and assurance in the field of education. We are strongly counting on her. In addition to this, Professor Sharma is a very talented person. She is a बहुत ही अच्छी वक्ता हैं और लिटरेचर और पोएट्री में भी खासा शौक रखती हैं. So what an extremely talented person. A very warm welcome to you, Professor Sharma. The other amazing panelist on the show is Ms. Anubha Prasad, General Manager, SIDBI, and founder, CEO, Karekeba Ventures. I hope I have pronounced it correctly. Anubha ji is the founder, CEO of Karekeba Ventures, which in Bhojpuri means we must. So it is an incubation cum impact investment platform for homegrown startups and innovation-driven businesses in underserved geographies of India, what we call Bharat. Founded in October 2020, Karekeba is curating high-potential startups from Bharat and mentoring them for scaling up and building their investment readiness, which is followed up by securing investments for them. Anubha worked as the National Coordinator India at the United Nations Environment Programme 2018-2020, leading projects that strive to put inclusion, innovation, equity, and sustainability at the heart of economic policy making. She worked for integrated policy making as well as project implementation for inclusive green development, sustainable finance, innovation-driven enterprises, and sustainable livelihoods. An NTS scholar, electrical engineer, MBA, Finance and Strategy, and a certified associate of the Indian Institute of Bankers, Anubha has 23 years experience at Small Industries Development Bank of India, popularly known as SIDBI. A thought leader, Anubha has held board-level positions in several government and private companies and is presently on the advisory board of World Resources Institute. Anubha is a visiting faculty and jury of business incubators at several B schools. She was the team leader for SIDBI Officers' Voluntary Initiative of Mentoring First-Generation Women Entrepreneurs, a work which was lauded by Niti Aayog and Government of India. With her vast exposure in startup financing and with her strong competencies befitting the United Nations system, Anubha hopes to make Bharat an equal partner in India's growth story. So looking forward to listening to her. What an incredible career graph and the roles Anubhaji has played. Welcome to the show, Anubhaji.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Our next panelist is a dynamic and extremely talented young lady. She is Ms. Samya Agarwal, CEO and co-founder iGen Plus. Samya is an educationist and a public policy enthusiast. She is the CEO and co-founder of iGen Plus, which is a K-12 school for culture and creativity. iGen Plus believes that Indic civilizational ethos enables children to be both rooted and free and helps children in expressing their full potential and in transforming them into global leaders and entrepreneurs of tomorrow. Samya is also the executive director at Gateway Education, a group of institutes focused on providing affordable quality education. We will get to know more about her innovative approaches as we move ahead with our discussion. So to begin our discussion, let me start with Professor Saroj Sharma ji. The Government of India has adopted the National Policy for Empowerment of Women with the objective of ensuring women their rightful place in society by empowering them as agents of socio-economic change and development. Education is the cornerstone of human progress and social development. Education, therefore, is the key to empowerment. Since you are associated with an organization that is strongly into open and distance learning, how do you see the role of ODL in women empowerment? And what are the programs that you, as chairperson, would focus on to ensure this empowerment? Over to you, Professor Sharma. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Reva Raina, Dean School of Education, Rishihood University. My fellow speakers, Ms. Anubha Prasad and Ms. Samya Agarwal, organizing committee, and dear listeners. Greetings and happy Women's Day to you all. Today, when we are discussing over a very challenging topic itself, that is choose to challenge. It takes us to different dimensions. One dimension is a very high level where women are having many success stories, and the another level there where they are still struggling to achieve the goals of women empowerment. And Professor Rena, I'm happy that you have given me a very good topic, that to speak over role of open and distance learning in women empowerment. Before I speak on this topic and also discuss role of my organization that you have elaborated in detail, that what NIOS is doing and what is NIOS meant for, I would also like to discuss some background of this women empowerment word, how it has come, breaking the barrier of glass ceiling also. Of late, we have glass ceiling in corporate world, and recently in the pandemic times, when it was a matter of discussion that how women are suffering in unorganized sector in getting salary as per their hard work. These things takes us to these kind of discussions where we have to bring parity between the success stories and also the kind of gap we are having in women empowerment. We have a strong cultural heritage where Vedic instances are there, or Shruti, which Vedas are written in Shruti form. And we have instances of Rishikas, Gargi, Maitri, Apala, and also very good story is there regarding Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya was winner in Shastrarth, but Bharti, wife of Mandan Mishra, the then philosopher, just asked few questions, and Shankaracharya was told her that I will be your disciple. So this kind of instances we are having in our ancient history. But why we have come to this stage where we are discussing about the empowerment of 50% of the world population, how to empower them, why to empower them? These are the basic questions where we have to find out the answers by these kind of conferences, these kinds of webinar. As Professor Rana said, that recently I have joined National Institute of Open Schooling. It is world's largest open schooling system, and we are working upon gender norms, gender policies also here, and try to just give proper answers to great questions which are haunting in today's scenario in all the sectors. We are having two definite domains. One is common examination sector, common content development, examination, and normal conventional way through online mode, that is secondary and senior secondary. And another domain is which is directly linked to women empowerment, that is vocational and skill training. As we all know, there are two skill domains. One is skill development and one is life skill development. Somewhere I feel that we women are definitely skilled in life issues. We know जीवन क्या है, जीवन कैसे हम देते हैं, और जीवन को हम कैसे nurture करते हैं. These are the things we women are definitely champion in these questions. But in the livelihood position, in livelihood skills, we women are somewhere lag behind. So we in NIOS are having certain projects. Recently, we have signed a MOU with Government of Jharkhand, that is Tejaswani project. Tejaswani is a World Bank project that caters the need of tribal women in Jharkhand, how to educate them and how to give them lifelong learning, and also how to give them livelihood education so that they can earn, and if they are lag behind in education, they can just continue their education. So Tejaswini is a very good project, and it is a boon in empowering women in that particular area. We are also associated with ASHA project. ASHA workers, these are the health workers, and this is the scheme with two other ministries. Ministry of Health is also our partner in this area. And these health work, we accredit these health workers, we develop content for them, we take examination there. And these health workers, ASHA health workers, were very helpful in Corona periods, that is pandemic period. So we are working hard, and we are going to conceive many such projects to empower women. If we talk in the area of other domains and international collaboration, we have Commonwealth learning, and certain countries are associated, and in joint collaboration we are developing various courses. And I would like to mention there are certain vocational education programs. This is particularly for NIOS. One is agriculture, business and commerce, engineering and technology, health and paramedical, home science and hospitality management, computer and IT. And a large number of women professionals are associated with us, and about 27,198 learners, women, number of women enrolled are 17,027. These women are taking vocational training from us on online mode, and they are very successful in this area. And another collaboration is with ASHA, as I said, and third one is for weavers community in Banaras, the Harkarga community. We have a MOU with Ministry of Child Welfare, Women Welfare and Child, and this is a special program for women weavers. We train them and we accredit the weavers, and also take care of education of these women workers. These are weavers. And another, we give them chance of second chance of passing. That is, this is also applicable for ASHA health workers and women. And third one is gender policy for open school, National Institute of Education and Sri Lanka. We have also helped Sri Lanka government, that is school National Institute of Education NIE in Sri Lanka, and we supported them in making gender policy, and it is also under the program of Commonwealth Learning. Another is, as I said, that Green Teacher Project. This is also a very good project that is a boon in empowering women. And the Gender Green Teacher Project consists of in-service professional development for secondary level teachers in the areas of environment and gender, complemented by a strong ICT-enabled network of teacher practitioners. We help them in content providing, we help them in online skill development. So such kind of things where environment is a prime importance, prime agenda, and NIU is taking lead in this area. And also we are in contact with other state open boards, and we are helping them in making gender policy also. And we provide study material. And a very good initiative we have recently taken, that we are going to review our content in other aspect of gender perspective. We see there are various examples where women are taken in a very women are very defamed or taken in a very demeaned way. So we are taking care of our content, our where instances of women empowerment, and also taking their name with a proper respectful manner is a prime agenda, where content is seen in that class. And yes, there are certain challenges, and we as a woman face there in society also. So that kind of value inculcation is also in our content part. Recently, we have seen National Education Policy 2020, where inclusion, gender policy, gender studies, these have been part of this National Education Policy. And till 2030, we have to achieve sustainable development goals, that is under the ambit of UNESCO 2030 goals, and gender policy is one of its part. See, when I discuss about the gaps between high and low level, where one side we can say Indira Gandhi, we have instances of Mother Teresa, Kalpana Chawla, and various success stories are there. And again, there are certain cases of rape cases, dowry cases. Though, yes, Vishaka judgment is there, and girls are finding it very supportive in taking their case further and getting justice. But still, as a stakeholders of education sector and being a part of half of the world population, we women, today is the day where we have to review the policy. We have to review the kind of mindset which we are facing today. The kind of mindset has to be developed to bridge these kind of gaps. I think today's International Women's Day is very important day, where we have to relook the things, we have to relook the aspects which can bring changes in the life of women, where they can become Atmanirbhar, self-dependent. And I congratulate you all for inviting me. I hope that this webinar will bring certain good aspects where future path will be made. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Rana.
Thank you so much, Professor Sharma. I mean, the time that you used in highlighting the work that NIOS is doing under your leadership, it was amazing, and I must say that it was a very eye-opening, informative session. You spoke about the vocational skills, the life skills, and some important projects that you've signed with different ministries, like the Tejaswini project, the Weakers Community project, the Gender Green project, the state open boards, helping them with study materials and content modification and NEP. I mean, you covered each and every box that we could imagine about, and I mean, you are under your leadership, we are sure that you are addressing the issues that we are talking about today, and you, all these areas clearly indicate that you are focusing on women empowerment, and which is amazing. Thank you so much for highlighting all these projects and talking about these. We'll be getting back to you, but in the meantime, I would want some views from Anubhaji as well. So Anubhaji's views on women entrepreneurship we would be looking forward to. So it is generally observed that women invariably mention family responsibilities as a barrier to starting a business. How do you think such women can be empowered to challenge to choose? What's your take on it? Over to you, Anubhaji.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rana, and before that, Dr. Sharma, for highlighting your work. And I really hope that going forward we would have books in which mothers are the breadwinners and fathers are the homemakers. So just to break the stereotypes, of course. So Dr. Rana, coming back to your question is that women often cite family responsibilities as a barrier in their course of entrepreneurship, which is very true. So in my role as a mentor, advisor, financier, and at times even, agony aunt, I mean, if I can't do much, but then I can lend a patient ear. So I would say that I have seen a lot of women coming with this, that we want to follow our heart, follow our passion, but then family comes in way, because the kind of the dirt and the grind and the work which is required to be successful in entrepreneurship, that's a different ball game altogether, rather than a 9 to 5 job, or an academics job, or something which is a little softer to go with. So I would say it's true, family support matters a lot. However, I would say the same thing is applicable for any career domain that women choose to be part of. So even if you are in a corporate sector, or even if you are in academia, or you are in some other domain, maybe you are an author or anything, so you have to strike a balance. That balance has to be there in terms of family, and in terms of your career. So I would say that the best thing is to derive happiness from whatever you do. And for women entrepreneurs, it is, the journey is more arduous, because the same kind of personality traits which, for a man, which are supposed to be, good or positive personality traits, they are viewed negatively in a woman. So if a man is ambitious, he is praised for being ambitious. If a woman is ambitious, she is termed as either over ambitious or unrealistic. If a man is, interacting with so a lot of people entering actually. So yeah, so if a man is kind of hard on his team, he's supposed to be a good taskmaster, hard taskmaster. For a woman, it is, I mean, she may be treated unpleasant. And right since our early ages, we are supposed to be the nurturing, the helpful, the likable types. So even that syndrome is there, that women fall in that trap of, I call it likability syndrome, wherein we don't want to take tough calls, so that our image as a nurturing, as a loving woman, which is an expectation, which is, I would say that it is not a reasonable expectation out of a woman, to always be likable or to always be nurturing. So you have to take some harsh decisions at time. So I would say that for every career, for women to be successful in any of the careers, and even for men for that matter, family is something which is a very important dimension of your work. And I would say that even though you feel that I mean, you have to kind of compromise on the happiness of your family or success of your family, it is like, I mean, the way you move forward with your goals, that's very important. Because it's always, good to educate your family, to kind of the perception and the way of thinking, you have to engineer that. You have to make them more collaborative, more cooperative, and more, I would say that they have to take certain things in stride. So if you can educate your family, if you can so you don't strive to be a perfectionist all the time. You don't need to be a perfectionist all the time. So you take care of all your responsibilities. What is important is, you must follow your heart. You must be given the opportunity to choose, and you must be given the happiness that is derived out of achieving, your small goals. So for me, I would say that entrepreneurship, although there are some minuses, because for any entrepreneur, execution is very important. It's not only about an idea, it has to be executed well, and it has to be scaled up to the next level, to greater heights. So for any entrepreneur, however, there are expectations, but at the same time, you have the flexibility when you are working for yourself. But it's very motivating when you're working for yourself. You are, I mean, when I'm working for myself, I've experienced it personally, that I'm 24/7 and I'm without stress. I'm not so stressed when I'm working for myself, because it's very motivating. Then I have the flexibility to ration my time as per my priorities. So it's always, there are pluses and there are minuses, there are trade-offs. And we have some brilliant examples of women entrepreneurs, from Nika to Let's Venture to Potia to even Pepsi, or so everywhere. I read somewhere Indira Nui, the PepsiCo head, saying that women can't have it all. But although she's very accomplished, and she's an extremely extreme achiever, I would say, I do not agree to this thought. Because I mean, the definition of all, that has to be changed, that has to be customized, that has to be tailor made for each and every woman, as per her own expectations level. So I mean, you can be a single mother and still be successful at something that you do. So having all is you have to define your all. What are the things, what are the priorities that you want in your life? And I would again say that if you are not following your passion, not following your heart, you are depriving yourself of something which is good for you, which is good for your family, and which is good for your country and your society. So choose to challenge. That's the message. So this is my response to your question, Dr. Rana. And again, I myself am a published Urdu writer. So I love the way you opened it with Majaz. And, even Kathy has written, and it's very, very, pertinent to the question that I was asked. So I
Please
would,
go ahead.
yeah, so just say that, so Kathy had written that, Ut meri jaan, mere saath hi chalna hai tujhe. So we have to make it work. We have to make it work together. तू की बेजान खिलौनों से बहल जाती है, तपती सांसों की हरारत से पिघल जाती है, पाँव जिस राह में रखती है फिसल जाती है, बन के सीमाब हर एक जर्फ में ढल जाती है, जीस्त के आहनी आहनी यानी लोहा, जीस्त के आहनी सांचे में भी ढलना है तुझे, उठ मेरी जान मेरे साथ ही चलना है तुझे. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful, Anubhaji. And I really liked whatever you said. And women, you said that women also should be able to take some harsh decisions, and they should be respected for being ambitious. And the message for women was to follow your heart, and opportunity should be given to them to choose. And one very interesting sentence that you quoted out of Indira Nui's interview: women can't have it all. And not agreeing with this statement endorses that women are empowered. And I must congratulate you for speaking that confidently and boldly. Thank you. And thank you for that share, which was appropriate and a very nice one. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, pleasure.
So we'll get back to you. But till then, let's have some views from Soumya ji. So let us now have an entirely different perspective on the role of family, not as a barrier to starting up a business, but as a significant component in the growth of a woman. We would like to know more from you, Soumya ji, as to how do you see the role of family in empowering a woman and enabling her to challenge to choose. Over to you, Soumya ji.
Thank you so much, Revaji, for introduction, and Anubhaji for sharing your thoughts. There's so much I thought I could learn from your from your small lecture. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. So I was just introducing myself to Anubhaji and told her that I'm a very young mother. I'm a mother of a 2-month-old. So talking about family and the challenges that come along with it, I might be too immature, but I would like to talk as a woman how my family supported me to become who I am today. So I think that's the role my family has played. Starting from when my mom getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to ensure that I leave home at 7 o'clock with proper food and lunch and everything that I need for a healthy and fulfilled day. To getting married to a family who supported me throughout my journey of having my own startup, ensuring that I miss some, family gatherings, and to ensure that I miss some family dinners. And as a daughter-in-law, it's very difficult for families to accept. And there is there's certain, requirements that they expect me to be there, but still I'm not there because of my work schedules be like. I've always been around such a family who've supported me in the journey of who I am, of what I am doing. Luckily to be, I feel very blessed with that. So that's where my family has played a role in who I am today. And talking about generally to other girls who might be feeling it little challenging, who feel that family is a challenge to what they want to become, I would ask them to look at family not something which is against a career. Just like Anubhaji said, it's more it's not work versus family. It's more like how can you integrate work and family together, because life is not made of one element. Life is not just family, of life is just not work. Life is like the complete whole which has too many elements in it, and if you want to live life, you have to bring it all together. So I think it's very, very important to understand the perspective. It's never versus one against another. It's just the integration, and there are various ways with which you can do. Uh, Secondly, I would really, really want to say, especially to my peers, especially to the age group that I come from, where I see so many of my friends are facing that dilemma of should we get it. It starts from the beginning should we get married or not get married? Because then the life will change, we will change our location, our career will get impacted. And then the motherhood is the second step altogether, which most of them take very late at their life. So to especially young women like me, I'm just 28, by the way. Uh, I just want to tell them it's when you want to make a career, it's in the place which is built by men for them, in the narrative driven by them. And when you make a family, it's your place, it's your small place, driven by you, made by you, narrated by you. So if you want to be a leader, if you choose between career versus family, maybe you can become a leader in the family, and avoid becoming a one rat in the race, driven too much by competition, driven too much by money, driven too much by who's going to come first. So these are two different sectors, and it's important that we make the very wise choice of what we are choosing, because getting attracted towards one thing because we are not we feel we are not because we feel we won't get success in another field it's a wrong perception to see. One cannot it's okay not to be successful in one field, and it's okay to be successful in another field, which for me another field here is the family. And thirdly, I like to say that there are a lot of people talking about women position, women's empowerment, stuff like that. But somehow I feel we should not focus on changing the position of women, but we should more focus on changing the narrative that circulates around women. So once we start looking at family as an important element of our living, as an important element of a society, once we start looking, I'll say motherhood as another business that the woman has started, and it is you're nurturing a child, which is the most unique technology that nobody has generated yet. So once we start looking family, child, motherhood as an essential part of the society of yourself, I think we won't need to change the position of women as much as we talk about. Thirdly, uh, there are two ways of looking at yourself. So I can look at myself as an individual, or I can look at myself as an important element of the entire ecosystem or of the entire society. So if I look at myself as an individual, I will look at myself with respect to my rights, with respect to my duties, with respect to whatsoever is what should all I should be getting from the society. If I look at an important element of the society, I will look at myself as somebody, what all I can give back to society and how can I nurture it. So it's okay to look at yourself as an individual driven by a lot of rights and duties, but it might not lead to harmony of yourself with other beings, and as we call it, like a peace of mind, won't give you anything. But if we look at ourselves as as a small particle or a small element in the entire ecosystem that's around you, and how your contribution will contribute to the harmonious integration of everybody, which is everything which is around you, um, I think that will lead to your personal growth and the growth of others that form an essential part. So I think more than changing the position of women and more than changing where they are, it's very, very important to change the narrative that goes around who the women are and who they should be. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Soumya ji. It was interesting to listen to your views. I mean, it was amazing to see how young women are looking at the whole scenario. You spoke up about some wonderful points, and it's you said that it's more about integrating family with your work, and life is not just work or your ambition. Life has other dimensions which need to be which also need to be looked into while we are talking about the empowerment of women. And some beautiful messages and suggestions, or let's say a message for all young women and all women for that matter that you gave, was that how important it is to make wise choices while we are choosing anything, like your work, your ambition, your family, or whatever. So and the one very important thing that I would like to repeat here is that you mentioned that change the narrative with respect to women and not the position of women in society. So yes, the beautiful picture that you created about a woman, and starting with your mother and her position and her contribution in making you what you are today. Yes, thanks a lot to her and to you as well. And I listening to you is kind of giving me a lot of confidence and hope that India is very much in safe hands, and we do have young people and young ladies who would want to preserve the cultural beauty that we have, and at the same time be modern, be ambitious, and be work focused, and through their talent and knowledge and skills contribute towards making the society balanced and wonderful and progressive. Thank you so much for your thoughts. And now I would be shifting our attention to some more interesting questions. I think I have a common question for all of you. So let's see how you all look at this question. It's a very common one. We all face this. So that is why I just wanted to look at the perspectives, considering the expertise areas of all you wonderful women. So the question is to you, Professor Sharma, first of all. Do you face any social resistance arising out of fears and misconceptions that education might alienate girls from traditions and social values and lead to maladjustment, conflicts, and non-conformism? So over to you, Saroji.
Yeah, Professor Rana, this is a very common aspect, not only in India, in fact, all over the world. This concept is still persisting. And 2 years back, I visited Cambridge University, and there the professor who took us to visit Cambridge University, she just told us that in 1952, first time a woman was allowed to pursue science, MSc in a science subject. This was very surprising. The so-called developed country where we discuss a lot about their industrial growth, their scientific advancement, and here this kind of this kind of words which she spoke about, and she made us see the Darwin's place where various discoveries were done, and also Stephen Hawking's place. Such kind of advancement in science took there, and in that country which is very advanced in nature and still it is a developed country, there such instance was very surprising for me. We are living in a world, many countries, their voting, two women are equivalent to one man in voting system. So in various UAE countries and many other countries, this system is still persisting. So when we talk about India, I think yes, this kind of taboo is still there, where it is considered लड़की पढ़ लिख जाएगी तो उसके लिए और लड़का ढूंढना पड़ेगा, दहेज देना पड़ेगा. This kind of concept is here. So through education, I think we can eradicate these kinds of taboos. And yes, globally conditions of women are same. We are no different from other women, other countries' women. So we have to take step collectively. And yes, we have to deflate the boundaries, and across the nation, this kind of common consensus should come, where value system has to be evolved and mindset has to be changed. And as I said, India is not the only country where this taboo, these kind of concepts are persisting. Globally, we have to work together, and that is why I quoted Millennium 2030 goals, and UNESCO is talking about gender parity and gender laws and gender issues.
Thank you so much. Can we see you, ma'am? Because people are wanting to see you speak. So
Professor Rana, I have just
watching you
left my organization and I'm leaving. So if you want to see me, you can see my car this time. So I'm sitting in
Okay.
my car.
We've been getting, our technical team is saying that, she's going live. So there are people watching you on YouTube and Facebook. So they're wanting to see you.
Yeah, hello. You can see me and just allow me to just stop my video. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I would be asking the same question to Anubha ji now. So do you face any social resistance arising out of fears and misconceptions that being an entrepreneur would alienate girls from traditions and social norms, social values, and lead to maladjustment and conflicts and non-conformism? Over to you,
Absolutely,
Anubha
yes. Many times over, in fact.
ji.
Because it's a different ball game altogether. We know it's a man's domain. It is considered to be a man's domain, and I have seen even family businesses, because I've been working with family businesses all my life. I have seen family businesses alienating their daughters and saying that we can't initiate our daughters in the business. One founder was had gone to the extent of saying that my daughter wants to study an MBA, but I can't let her because in our community it will be difficult to find a boy. And then with an MBA, she would like to do business, which is not a woman's domain. Uh, as absolutely, I have seen it happening. It is quite rife, and also in certain states, like I was in Rajasthan, so their social indicators. I worked in Chandigarh when I was heading the region, entire region. So even Haryana was, social indicators are quite poor over there. So. Absolutely, I have seen it happening, and I have seen it changing also over the years. So this founder I was speaking about, who was, I have not seen such an anti-education parent in my life, because from where I come, and we were middle class family, so education was foremost, and padhoge nahi to bheek mangna padega, that kind of narrative was prevalent even for girls and the boys. But then I really had to counsel that person that no, if your daughter wants to come in business, let her be. And over series of counseling session, that parent relented, and the girl, not only she did her MBA, but she was also handling the business, because the father, and she became the right hand person of her father. And of course she was married, and now she's looking after the business of her in-laws as well. That's a societal reality, we have to live with it. But then absolutely, I have seen this. And young girls who are not married, for them, even the parents have this stand that 9 to 5 job kar lo to acha hai. Why do you want to venture into something which is so difficult and which is so uncertain, and which is so rife with a lot of problems, wherein you have to go out and you have to have your ears to the ground always, that kind of stuff. So always seen it, but things are definitely changing for better. We have some great role models who have kind of fashioned our opinion in favor of education and in favor of entrepreneurship. And I would say that it is, this divide has really come down, but it's there, and we all have to work together. Another thing which is a slight digression from what I was saying is, this is my fifth session today, and I had three yesterday as a speaker. So the question, and it was posed even by the women in the audience, that, and even in the panel, that why to observe a Women's Day at all? I mean, what is the need? We talk about equality, and we talk about being, shoulder to shoulder with men. So why do we have a Women's Day at all? Why is it needed? And I say that it is still needed. It is still needed, because this is the time. This is for every educated woman, for every go-getter, ambitious woman, career woman. There are millions who are still toiling there. There are millions who don't get the choice. There are millions who don't get the opportunities. So for them, this is our bounden duty, that we take stock. We kind of see that what kind of incremental improvements are there, and how we can contribute to this. And this narrative has to be made very, very inclusivist. So nobody can say that those English speaking छोटे बालों वाली लेडीज जो हैं, और जो ड्राइंग रूम में बैठ के आर्म चेयर एक्टिविज्म करती हैं, ये उनका दिन है। नहीं, ये उनका दिन नहीं है, ये उन सब का दिन है जो लाइफ में जो उनका जो ड्रीम है, जो उनका डिजायर है, वो उसको अचीव करना चाहती हैं. So I say that a Women's Day will be required till the time we obliterate the need completely. We make it redundant, neither for the Women's Day nor for the Men's Day. And then we should not talk about equality, but equity. All the time we should talk about equity. And it is about, getting parity and, doing away with those biases. Thank you.
Thank you, Anubhaji. I would add on to what you said. I'll share my experience with you. I've been a teacher educator all my life. And what happened once was in teacher education, there's an important component wherein we send these interns to schools to practice their teaching skills. We call it internship program. So we were orienting them to visit different schools, and what we wanted was that, in order to identify them, we asked them to wear saris, and the boys were asked to wear a certain kind of, the normal trousers and shirt and all that. So next day, I was approached by a father of a young girl, and he was working in Delhi police. Amazing. I mean, that was really, really amazing. He comes to my office and he says, my daughter will not wear a sari. I said, why? Well, what is wrong in wearing a sari? I'm not asking you to wear some Western outfit or something like that. Sari is an Indian dress, and it's our identity, and we feel very proud and in wearing sari. So what is wrong? He said, no, in our culture, unmarried girls don't wear sari. So if she wears a sari and moves out of her house to go to a school, our neighborhood will question us. How come your daughter is wearing a sari? She's not married. I said, well, it was so confusing. I didn't know what to do. So yes, there are challenges, and educating people on different angles. And it's not just I would be focusing on my students. No, I have to educate their parents, their mohalla, and their, so we had to actually organize a workshop for that mohalla to talk about saris and do modeling and to tell them how glamorous you feel and how nice and confident you feel it. And there's no tag associated to sari that, once a lady is married, only such women can wear saris and others cannot. So it was a huge barrier that we really had to, overcome. So Samya ji, the question is that you spoke about the family and the role of family and how important it is. And it is because of the family what you are. But it can be a little, I would be very happy to listen to your views on this. The same question I'm asking to you, because you are associated with the education of children, and in some institutions you're associated with the education of underprivileged children too. So I want to know your experiences and your opinion on the question as to did you feel some resistance or in educating these children or these students?
Yes, when you go deep down and talk to students who come from very underprivileged areas, there is definitely this resistance. You see, with respect to their marriage, if they get educated, they won't find a suitable boy, as Anubhaji also said. Their, second general argument is that they'll get very rebellious, they'll know more than others in the family, so they won't accept what their mothers or fathers or the society is informing or asking them to do. So there have been certain resistances by parents, society, etc. However, I feel, I don't know whether I'm too young or I haven't had enough experience. I generally haven't got this resistance for myself or for the people who are really, really close to me. I feel when you're more educated, you're more informed about the traditions. You enjoy them accordingly, and there are obviously some certain superstitions. There are certain, I'll say, unnecessary things that people do just because it has been happening for ages, and there is no relevance of them today. So once you are informed, you're educated, you make the choice accordingly, and that sort of helps. And I'll talk. I don't know whether I'm taking the definition in the right way, but in the family there are rituals that everyone follows, right? And interestingly, it is always the women of the house who takes the lead in organizing it, in doing it, etc. So if the women of the house is educated, they can accordingly choose to do few, choose to do many, or choose to do some as per they feel relevant as per their household. So for example, in the Shera Puja. You do puja of astra and shastra. You do puja of all the things that you use to fight. Now we do puja of laptops and phones and these watches, because that's what we do, to fight or to work. These are the instruments of progress today. And that's how we have changed our traditions, small rituals in the family itself. Talking at the larger society level, definitely, you feel these resistance, the acceptance of girls getting educated is not as much as we would want to be there, because of the certain biases that are attached to it. And personally, I haven't faced any challenge in educating the type of students that I'm currently working with, because they do come from a certain background and are very open to getting them educated. And interestingly, because I also work, the type of content that we deliver through IGN Plus is Indic and is related to, soft skills, is related to how do we learn leadership from Ramayana, how do we learn, negotiation from Sardar Vallabhai Patel, etc. So we've seen a lot of girls, getting that or accumulating that knowledge much quicker and faster than boys do. And the type of questions, so we were making the learning graphs very recently, and we saw that the girls, scoring much higher than boys, because the type of skills that we teach are very soft, associated more with feminism. And so we see girls accepting and you know enjoying it more than boys do. So yeah, I
Thank you
think I'm
so
too
much
young to
for
be
this
to be
beautiful
commenting
thoughts.
otherwise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I keep on looking at the work that you do. Every now and then we have you share the news, the materials, the important aspects that you work on with your students and children at your schools. So amazing work you're doing, and so it kind of makes me feel so happy that young women are looking at education, the word itself, from various aspects, and doing everything possible in their abilities to break those barriers and not follow the structured system, go beyond that, offer that X factor. So which is very nice and very amazing and a welcome step. So I congratulate you for your work. And I have one more question, which is very interesting and which is still prevalent. And the question is that there is this prevalence of early marriage and social inhibitions against girls pursuing education after marriage. So I would want to know from Professor Sharma, is NIS under your leadership doing something about such issues? Professor Sharma, can you? She must be traveling, but let's see if she has this.
Yeah, Professor. Yeah, Professor Rana, there is some please repeat your question.
Okay, I was talking about this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. We can. So I was talking about this prevalence of early marriage. Let's not say that there are child marriages, which are also happening, but let's say that early marriages. Marriage. Marrying at very young ages, and social inhibitions against girls pursuing education after marriage. So we have women, and I have done a lot of education after marriage, but then you still have some areas.
These kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So is your
Yeah, these kind of things are there yeah, these content are also developed in the area of social sciences and also value education, value part. But right now we are in process of signing MOUs with several corporates also, where CSR will be one initiative, and we are going to conceive these kind of things in these CSR projects, and that will be very much for reminding me our social role also in that area, and
great. So congratulations to you
should
for taking such bold initiatives and
project for socially useful. Then thank you for reminding me, and yes, we are in process and we will definitely do in this area.
Thank you. It really feels great. And I would ask the same question to Anubhaji. Yeah, with regard to her.
I did my MBA post my marriage. And
Okay.
I got married when I was in final year of engineering. And of course, there are problems because I was having a small child, and then still I pursued. Of course, family has to be very, very supportive. My mother-in-law was a working woman. So obviously, she had a different kind of temperament. So I was privileged that way. Yeah, of course, these barriers are there. After marriage, education at times it comes to a halt, and at times women are not given the choice or the opportunity to pursue education. But I again say that this is changing fast, because at least in middle class India, I see there's a lot of premium placed on women's education and women's career as well. And in many of the families, at least in the Indian middle class, there is this the perception has changed that women could be equal breadwinner, and education is an important prerequisite for that. So education just as a ladder for employment, or education to make a person, man or woman, more complete. Both these thoughts are gaining ground, at least I would say that in the middle class, Indian middle class. And the story is same, as Dr. Saroj said. It's the story is same across the globe. There are no exceptions in US of A, or even if you talk about Scandinavia, a country as inclusive as Norway or Sweden, the realities are the same. However, I would say that things are changing, and changing for better.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with you, and things are very. I think things are very bright because these days the younger generation, especially boys, they don't care about these kind of taboos. They don't like women sitting in home. They take their better half in an equal manner, and boys definitely love their wives working. So things are being changed. And Generation Y and Generation Z, I think the.
Absolutely.
This generation is very liberal in their mindset, and we are hope for better future for women.
Thank you so much. We have an example in front of us. One of the panelists is a young lady, and she's just become mommy.
Yes,
And
yes.
well, let us have her opinion and her views on this important aspect. Yeah,
And
over to
So
you,
yeah,
Sonia.
before
Soumya, just a line before you start. You took me back to my days of early motherhood.
Okay.
and so just before joining the panel discussion, I was doing my online MSc. so as to answer your question.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah. So right, yes, maybe Anubha ji can relate that to as well.
That kind of endorses Sarojji's opinion that men are not liking their wives to be just sitting and cooking and,
Not
dishwashing.
at all.
They want them to come out of their shells and study and, receive
Yep.
education and, be very active.
Professor
So,
Rena,
yeah.
they are in tune to this mentality, and they support us in a very good manner. That is why we are working, and we गाड़ी के दो पहिए हैं, and we are driving on the same path.
Very true, very true. So thank you very much. Soumya ji, please continue.
Yeah, so right, I think I lost my train of thoughts. Anyway, so I was saying, yeah, so I was just I was doing my MSc just before joining the panel discussion, and I completely agree. I'm one of the examples of the young woman, who's doing her studies after marriage, completing her studies after marriage, and that's only because my family motivated. I was very relaxed. I was like, "Ho gaya na jitna padna tha. Now let me just work." But then again, my husband and my family asked me to get like a MSc from like from an institute which was online and was manageable. So I think the support from the family and the need of the women to be working outside their homes is very much in demand these days, and I think it's becoming a balance now. So women wants men to be working in the house and helping them, and men wanting women to go out and working, and if it's a family business, to support in the business, or to do whatever they want to do. I think it's more like sharing the load equally, and asking for the equal time, both the sides. So that is definitely there, and I can see it with me and my other friends who are of the similar age, that my male friends wanting girls who are, they want girls who will be working. They don't want girls who will be sitting inside the houses. So that, जैसे डिमांड होती है ना कि लड़की सुंदर हो, there is also this demand कि लड़की लड़की काम करती हो और घर पे ना बैठे. So that is definitely adding to the required biodata of the girls. And yes, I think the times are changing, and there have been these days where my mom couldn't complete her postgrad just because she got married, and she didn't get the permissions west to say to do it. So there was this generation who faced these issues, but luckily we've grown that time, and we're seeing the changes for good now.
Great. Great. So we have a wonderful role model in front of us, and there are people watching you live, and I'm sure they'll take inputs from you and would get encouraged to move ahead and come out of their shells and explore their potential and contribute constructively. I have one last question, and I'll have a quick opinion round from each one of you. It's about a social issue, and I think we all are responsible and are sensitive towards this, but I would like to have your opinion and on your views as to how we can help. So we also have this prevalence of child labor among girls belonging to weaker sections. सरोज जी हैं हमारे साथ पैनल में. So are you planning to offer some programs for such women or girls, Saroji, through your organization, since you are working there as chairperson and have already organized so many things and so many MOUs you've signed, and you're doing some amazing work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Professor Rana, we are already having program Open Basic Education. So there is no age bar. And for girls, we are having certain projects from UNESCO also, where we provide free education to underprivileged girls. And as I discussed about Tejaswani and several other projects,
Yeah.
we are helping to these girls. And for open basic education, fee is very minimum, and we are very liberal in choice-based credit system, credit banking, and there are various programs where they can continue their education even after a long gap. So vocational as well as regular conventional courses. We, in fact, the new education policy is having various components from our system also. We are open vocational courses are there with conventional courses, and also credit system, credit bank system. These are the things. We are already having diffusion of streams. We don't force to anybody for having opting science, commerce, and these kind of streams are not there. So we are open, and also girls can get skills through online mode from various courses. So open basic education is another form of adult education, and government has given us the task also to take this course further in name of adult and continuing education. So yes, girls are very much part of this kind of courses.
Thank you so much, Professor Sharma. That was indeed a very informative piece of information. Was very relevant and very helpful also for people to take note of. And I would ask the same question to Anubha ji. You as an expert in the field of startups and entrepreneurship, how do you see this issue being handled?
So a very pertinent issue, Dr. Raina, and very heartening to know from Dr. Sharma that this issue has been tackled. However, I would say this as our individual social responsibility as well. We all the time we talk about corporate social responsibility, but in terms of our individual social responsibility, if we can, like Samya is doing, or lot many other people are also doing, so if we can take it upon ourselves to maybe include one girl, or maybe your house help's daughter, or somebody who come across as an underprivileged child who is forced into child labor. So maybe if you can work at a small level, at a micro level, for her education, her empowerment, that'll be a great beginning from all of us in terms of our individual responsibility towards the society. That's my take on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I agree with you that at our individual levels also we need to contribute. We don't have to look at the government and the organizations all the time. We at our individual levels can also help in eradicating this
Dr.
problem.
Rena, I would just like to add a
Please
small
do.
thing that
Please.
COVID has kind of rebooted all of us. So
Yes.
we have most of us have gone now virtual and location agnostic. Sitting anywhere, we can work or we can teach or we can do a lot of stuff. I mean, last year Women's Day, it was about canceling my appointments last year because everything was physical. This year, this is the eighth one that I'm attending. So we all have changed. The circumstances have made ourselves adapt to the new world, to the new normal.
Yes.
So it is way more easier than the earlier days now to teach or to make others, underprivileged people or girls or women, aware of their rights or whatever, in whatever domain we want to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anubhaji. Yes, yes, we have come a long way, and this 1 year has taught us many lessons. Thank you so much for all those inputs. And now the same question goes to Samyaji. Samyaji is already working towards this field and in this field, but still, I would, for the benefit of viewers and for their knowledge and education, I would like Samyaji to speak on this issue.
Right. So this is something that I have experience in back in school when I was the head girl then for 2 years, and I with my teachers and principals initiated this program called Rainbow Kids, where we would have girl child of our house helps coming to our school after the primary school got over, and they would study in like the primary wing of a school. So we started with 10 such girls. They were nominated by the school students themselves, and we had our teachers who were free during those periods to go and teach them in the school. And obviously the senior students also, class 11, 12, 10 students, would also go and take their classes. Interestingly, we everything from their uniform to their books to their lunch to all the stationery they would need, everything was given and gifted by the school itself. So every student paid like 1 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee. Some volunteered to pay the entire cost of the entire books, etc., whatever. So we had like this big huge family coming together to teach these young, very dynamic 10 girls. And like it was started when I was in class 11th, and when I passed out, we had like 35 students enrolled in that program. And now it's a self-sufficient program in itself. So two of them have become the teachers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so two of them become their teachers now. They teach the girls, and we have like a batch of 50 students. And now we have to, do these choosing the right ones, etc. So we have added a filter because the demand was too high and the school couldn't really accumulate all of them.
Oh, that's
So
great.
going to what Anubhaji said, we can start something at our own place. We can start with teaching one child, and make it maybe a bigger initiative by collaborating with the schools around. And it's like a no cost thing. So if you have like a school of 500 students, and if everybody pays like 5 or 10 rupees, you will have enough money to make that small school of underprivileged students self-sufficient, and make it, and it will run easily for 1 year or 2 years, and then you will have students from that school itself taking it and making it sustainable. And so yeah, so this is something that we did, and this is something that I would ask everybody to start at their own locality, and yeah, contribute.
So beautiful. Well done, Soumya-ji. That's a wonderful piece of work that you've done, and amazing, very, very unexpected from young ladies like you. But then it is happening, and I'm sure many other women like you are already on the job, and they must have done the similar kind of work. And I agree with you also that at our individual levels, we need to work in this direction, and it is a chain reaction. And yes, things would start happening. So thank you very much for your views. It has been a very, very eye-opening session and very informative one too. And the views shared by our eminent panelists are indeed informative, educative, and enlightening. The opportunities created and the directions provided by each one of you in your respective fields of expertise have encouraged us, and we are ready to handle the challenges and choose what we feel can empower us. I would like to share a very popular saying here, which I feel is an apt one to express how we are feeling after listening to these amazing leaders today. It says, मंजिलें उन्हीं को मिलती हैं जिनके सपनों में जान होती है, सिर्फ पंखों से कुछ नहीं होता दोस्तों, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है। तो हाँ, हौसले बनाए रखें हम सब लोग, और यही मैसेज हम सबको भी दें, और इसी तरह से बहुत अच्छा काम करें, और अपनी अचीवमेंट्स पे पहले खुद फख्र करें, और दुनिया अपने आप फख्र करेगी. And people have started realizing that women, as Professor Sharma very correctly said, that about 50% of the population happens to be women, and there is a significant contribution from women towards the development of this planet, I would say, to, ecosystem was the word that was used for Samya ji. So I think, it's happening, and people have started recognizing the potential and worth of women, and have started treating women as individuals and opinionated women. So I'm extremely happy to listen to all the three of you, and it has been a wonderful session. I would like to thank you on my personal behalf and on behalf of Rishihood University for being with us and sharing your views on this important issue and on this very special day. So thank you so much, all wonderful women and experts in your fields. Thank you for being with us, and stay safe and stay healthy and take care. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks, Rishihood. Thanks, Dr. Raina. Thanks, Samya.
Thank you so much.